Mm, mm, mm. Guess who's back in the house? Heels click clacking about, fine fresh feminine. I hope that you guys are safe, having a lovely day in these crazy times of the coronavirus pandemic. Please be safe. Um, the news, I get updates every hour, and it just seems darker, scarier by the hour. So please be safe no matter where you are. Um, but this video is not about the coronavirus. It is about episode 5 of RuPaul's Drag Race season 12. The episode is titled Gay's Anatomy because the queens participate in a acting challenge, which is incredible. The celebrity guest judge is Normani. If you haven't heard of her, where have you been? She was part of a extremely successful female girl group, Fifth Harmony, and one of my favorite songs of theirs is, I think it's just called Work, um, or Put in the Work. I should know what it is, but that's my favorite song of theirs. And I believe her lead single from her solo album was Motivation. And I kind of like jokingly stated in a previous post that I hoped Normani would give Aiden motivation to slay it on the runway. And I think that kind of happened just from her presence as being a guest judge. And so last episode, Rock M. Sakura was eliminated from the competition, and Leslie Jones was the celebrity guest judge. The internet exploded. One, people are petitioning to get Leslie Jones to be the celebrity guest judge just because of her energy. She was incredible. I was laughing and in tears while she was there, from like live tweeting Rue, um, to the funny moment when the two queens were about to lip sync and like the lights lowered and she was like, dramatic lighting. It was hilarious. So I would love that. I'm for that. Rue, get Leslie Jones as a permanent judge. We would love that. And the internet exploded with kind of like justice for Rock because people believe that Rock did not deserve to be in the bottom. And so that was really interesting. So if you think that Rock should not have been in the bottom, let me know in the comment section. If you want Leslie Jones to be a celebrity guest, let me know. I think she would be perfect. I can whisper something in Rue's ear and say that Leslie and let Leslie be one of the judges, even if she's kind of like a rotating judge, like in previous seasons. Todrick Hall was like a rotating judge, but that would be amazing because I love her energy. I like having balance between Michelle and people who are more neutral, but also have more positive critiques. And I just loved what Leslie had to say when she went to the workroom with the girls. So, early in this episode, after they go into the workroom, the girls kind of gang around Aiden, and I believe it's Jada that says that she thought that Aiden would be in the bottom, and that she was shocked that Aiden wasn't there because of her costumes. She didn't think they were original, and the other girls basically agree with Jada. And so after kind of like Aiden has stated that she's very minimalist. She's more about simple costumes and she wants her face to kind of like sell the entire look. And so I can appreciate her aesthetic. Like, one, her face is beautiful. She really does stand out on the stage. And so I just don't want every episode to be about beating up Aiden, even though there is always that character that the other queens don't understand. But I think there are many other conversations that need to be had instead of kind of like beating up Aiden. So she's there. Rue likes her. So it is what it is. Um, Fast forward, Rue comes into the workroom the next day, and there isn't a mini challenge, but they learn that for the maxi challenge, it will be a scripted medical drama acting challenge, and that two judges will be randomly picked by choosing two pink pills, and the rest of the pills will be blue pills. So coincidentally, Nicky Doll and Gigi, who were pretty close in the last episode, received the pink pills. And it kind of seemed like it wasn't coincidental that the two queens who were kind of like neck and neck last episode and who have been deemed the fashion queens, that they just get the pink pills. And so I was excited to see how this was going to play out because they are the team captains and it's an individual group challenge, not small groups. And so I was really excited about this to see um, who, because in these acting challenges, some people are pissed by the roles that they get. And so Rue does a walkthrough, and I love Rue's walkthroughs. And so Rue is talking to Aiden and Britta about them being in the bottom two the previous episode and what they are going to do to really shine and not be in the bottom again. And so Aiden states that she's not from a big city and she's out of her element. And I was really confused by that because Aiden lives in Atlanta, and Atlanta probably has more spaces for drag queens to perform than Los Angeles. Um, there are at least like 15 spaces where drag queens can perform in Atlanta. Pre coronavirus, like some of them may not be able to stay open, unfortunately. Also, Aiden's drag sister is Saint Lucia, who was a contestant on Dragula this last season, season three. And Saint Lucia did leave early in Dragula. However, she performed with them across uh, the States and in Europe. And so I don't know if Aiden was able to be a part of that tour any way, shape, or form. But I just don't understand how she couldn't have been influenced by St. Lucia and she couldn't perform regularly in Atlanta. I know that Nina Bonina kind of like talks about how she doesn't really get to perform a lot in Atlanta, even though she lives there, because other queens don't understand her style of drag. But again, like Aiden is so close to Florida, the House of Black, Victoria Elizabeth Black, and Dahlia Black, and the other members of Black. I think they perform in Orlando, and they have a club that it's like their the club where they perform, and Aiden really kind of like falls into their type of drag, and so she could just easily perform at their club. So I didn't get that at all. And the other queens were saying that, you can't make excuses all the time about why you're not delivering what the judges want. And so that too is really getting old. Kind of, I'm new to this. I'm not from a big city. Neither is Widow or Crystal. I mean, they're not from big cities. And we haven't seen Crystal complain about not being from a big city once. And so it just does sound like an excuse. And so then Rue asks, did anyone have any issues with the role that they were given? And so Gigi says that Widow had a problem with her role. And then Rue says, so you had a problem that you were not picked to be Black China. I screamed because of the Nina Bonina reference to I should have been Black China. Hilarious. That was such a cute moment. And I know that Nina will love that as well. Oh, by the way, if you don't follow Nina on YouTube, please do. She is hilarious. She calls her fans piggies, um, petty individual geniuses, something like that. But she has such a dry, harsh wit to her that a lot of people don't get, and it kind of is it's very abrasive to them. And so follow her; you will love it. I love when her videos come out. Um, so then Rue has a great moment with Widow, and she basically says that it doesn't matter what character that you are assigned in a challenge on Drag Race, you have to breathe life into the character and really just show your personality. And that is 100% true. A good example is Miss Vanjie in the Church of Brittany episode, where Vanjie was given like this random character, but the character was just Vanjie in a church wig. And the only thing that I remember from that skit was Vanjie saying she was supposed to say thank you Brittany, but she said thank you Vanjie, and Vanjie was like, "Ooh, I just thanked myself." And so it was so hilarious because even though Vanjie was trying to play this conservative church woman, all we saw was Vanjie, but her personality sold it. And so, just from what Widow gave the first episode in the acting challenge, I knew she would kill it and really sell it. So I don't know what she was complaining about, um, but that was just very strange. So we get to the acting challenge, and Carson is directing, and he actually tells the queens what he's looking for, which I don't think that any of the previous directors for the acting challenges has ever told them this is what I'm looking for. And so he just wanted very elevated, humorous characters or caricatures. And so it kind of gave them something to go off of to use during the acting challenge. In the acting challenge, Sherry Pie really stood out. She, I was really impressed by her. And so she really shine anytime the camera was on her and she was delivering lines. She sold it. So other people that stood out besides Sherry were Widow and Gigi. Heidi also, in her short scene with Crystal, she really stood out to me. And so people that were kind of like questionable were Jada, Nicky, and Aiden. And Heidi and Crystal had like a short role together. But Crystal really, they didn't show her speaking at all during the acting challenge, and she had very little screen time um, prior to the acting challenge scenes, and so she was really removed from the first part of the episode, and it was a shame because her makeup looked so beautiful during the acting challenge, and I really appreciate Crystal because she is this very quirky, lovable individual, and so hopefully she doesn't disappear later in the season as well. So I really loved kind of like the different takes for the acting scenes. I was really excited to see it during the runway. So fast forward, we're in the workroom, and there are two great moments that happen. Jackie is in tears when someone brings up the drag mother or Sherry's character, and she's in tears talking about being Persian, being an immigrant, and how her mother wanted her to be a doctor, and all she wanted to do was sing and dance, and her mother didn't want her to do any of those things, and how her mother doesn't even know that she does drag, and she didn't know how her mother would take seeing her on the show. And so my heart went out to her. This is something that a lot of contestants on the show battle with, that their parents don't know that they do drag, and there's a fear of what will happen when they discover that I'm on this TV show. And so my heart really went out to her. And then Widow was in tears because her mother died when she was 17 in a car crash, and um, I really love that she opened up because of just how she reacted to being chosen the particular character that she was given, and we we kind of know why she's such a fighter, because not only did her mother die, but she doesn't have a great relationship with the rest of her family members, and so it's just her and her husband, and so she's fighting for a better way of life for the both of them. And so I just really I love learning more about her. um, we have gotten very few backstories for a lot of the characters. It's only season 5. um, I mean, but each of the moments that we've been given have really made me love the queens more. So I really love that moment. So we go to the runway, and the runway is called Planet of the Capes, which is hilarious. And I'm going to use a lot of my notes because there are so many looks that I can't remember all of them. But first on the runway is Jada. And because Jada has a pageant background, I knew she wouldn't disappoint. And so she is pink perfection. She has like pageant cone hair. And I think Normani said that it reminded her from Baps, um, Halle Berry's character from Baps. And it looked really good. It looked professionally done, uh, like it was like 8 feet high on the top of her head. And so I love the hair. There are also kind of like um, these pink sequined um, accessories in her hair, which matched her outfit. So I love that. She had this beautiful satin pink cape and these really beautiful horseshoe shaped shoulder pads, and a like a pale pink catsuit with pink and gold sequins that were tastefully adorned on the outfit. And so she looked incredible. So I loved her outfit. Then it was Britta. Britta was wearing a chiffon see-through red cape with a hood. That chiffon is very flowy, and so it really looked like she needed more of the material, or she needed some type of embellishment on the very tail of the cape to make it look even more dramatic. Her outfit was kind of like a dominatrix inspired bra, corset, and panty that was ribbed. And then it had this kind of like elaborate um, skirt, like a hoop skirt, that I think it was python. I'm not sure, but it was this bright, bold red color, blood red color. Um, I didn't love it and I didn't hate it, but it seemed like something was missing with the skirt. Maybe if the skirt or top piece had more of the chiffon material, but it just looked like something was missing. Then we had Gigi, and Gigi outfit, I believe, was a Girl Scout meets military um, esque look, and so she had this beautiful military, and it was all brown, but she had this beautiful military hat with a like a royal forest emerald green trim, and it was really beautiful. Her cape had a emerald green lining, and the tailoring was perfection. So she looked great. And then somewhere she pulled a cookie out and started eating it. So that was cute. So I really love that. Heidi, it was okay. It was a black cat suit that was sequins with a rainbow. Um, Normani called it or somebody called it a Bob Mackie wing, which is very like every drag queen has one of these things, but RuPaul had one at like a fashion award show in the 90s, and it is my favorite Ru look of all time. So it just seemed like it was two different outfits going on because the rainbow wing cape thing didn't really go with the all black. Crystal looked amazing. She had this like yellow vintage jumpsuit that was satin with a purple lining to her cape, and the makeup was very soft. It was her her face, but just softened a little bit, and this kind of like beautiful jet black bouncy wig that she just looked incredible. It was simple, yet elegant and elevated for her in a way as well. So I loved it. Aiden had a very simple look. It was a black velvet cat suit um, with a velvet capelet, but the back of the capelet had black and red sequins, and I think it's pronounced a cinema. I could be butchering, but it's a cinema wide brim hat, which had the same black sequins with a red trim. And her look was inspired by Silence of the Lambs. So she had a butterfly, a large butterfly on her mouth. And so I really loved the, the subtleness of the outfit because it didn't scream, um, but it was still her aesthetic. So I really appreciated that. Widow, I loved Widow's look. It was very whimsical. So she was inspired by watermelon. And so it was kind of like a bra panty set that was this really beautiful pink iridescent color. And she had a jewel nipple reveal that it was kind of like this really cool kind of like blue jewel but her earrings matched the jewel reveal, so that was really cool. She had a lime green ponytail, and the top of her cape was this the rind of the watermelon, and she had matching pink iridescent boots, and so it was a very clean look. It's probably one of my favorite widow looks of the season, and so I loved it. She looked really good. Nicky gave us a '90s fashion moment. It was very Terry Mugler. Um, One of his iconic bodysuits, the Metropolis robot look. That is an iconic look. We've seen it in so many fashion editorials, but it's one of Terry Mugler's um, most beautiful looks, in my opinion. And it I enjoyed it. I immediately knew the reference, but compared to all of the other girls, it just looked very blah to me. And so we learn. So we see the Gay's Anatomy, and Heidi, Sherry, Widow, and Gigi, they really shined to me. And so I loved all of them. The other girls were great, but those individuals really stood out to me. And I believe it was Jackie who made a statement that she didn't know why Jan wanted to be Meredith too, because they're supposed to look very different. And it took me a second to realize, um, after the facial transplant, that I was looking at Jan and not Jackie. They don't look alike at all, but I think Jan painted herself in a way that was very similar to a way that Jackie painted. So I was like, I don't see any difference. I was like, oh my gosh, that's Jan and not Jackie. So that was hilarious. And then a weird thing happened where Dahlia Sen was wheeled in her broccoli costume, and so I think that was because of the way that she just stormed off stage. It was a way that we knew that she had apologized to Rue at some point and production. And so it was a way for us to know that there is no love lost between Rue, production, and Dahlia Sin. So I actually really enjoyed it. It just seemed very random, but it was a cute moment. And so we learned that the queens that the panel loved the most are Jan, Widow, Jackie, Sherry, Gigi, and Aiden. And Sherry wins it all. Um, and so because she won, she received a $5,000 cash tip, and production donated $5,000 to the Trevor Project, which was a great gesture. Trevor is a hotline for LGBTQ plus youth to call in if they are having suicidal ideation, and so I love that. And so I think I said it earlier, but these group of queens, they really do better in challenge acting challenges where they work together as one group and not in smaller groups. Because in episode one, they all had a single challenge and they all just shined. So they all did, and Rue says that, you all did an amazing job, and you've made it very difficult for me to choose who is in the bottom. So we learn the individuals who are in the bottom are Jada, Bretta, Heidi, Crystal, and Nicky. And because they did so well, Rue asked the dreaded question, who should go home? And my heart always like sinks to my ankles with this because the queens, um, really have to do something that they're uncomfortable with. And so Jada says Heidi, Britta says Nicky, Heidi and Crystal say Nicky, and Nicky says Nicky. Nick, like when Nicky said herself, I knew that she would be in the bottom. That she put the nail in her own coffin, and it seemed as if she had really given up at that point. And so the only people that are mentioned are Nicky and Heidi. So I knew that they were going to be in the bottom. And fast forward, we learned that they're in the bottom and they have to lip sync for their lives. And I like both of them. Like Nicky has an incredible eye for fashion. I have loved all of her looks. They've been incredible. But Heidi is, I've seen her perform, amazing. She has this energy about her. She has a pageant background, and so you knew that she was going to tear up the stage no matter what the song was. The song is Heart to Break by Kim Petras. So I don't know, but this might be the first time that we've heard an independent artist and also a trans artist. I don't know if we've had any other trans artists whose songs have appeared on the show during the lip sync. And Kim Petras is very controversial, um, but I won't get into that right now. But this was a song that I thought that Nicky would probably have in her repertoire of songs that she's probably performed to before. And so I was like, oh, I was really nervous for Heidi. Heidi put on a show. She took off her rainbow wing cape. She marched to the back of the stage and she touched every part of the stage. And she killed the entire song. And I was like, yes, you are performing. You're giving Ru and the judges what they want. Normani even said, oh, she's fighting. And so everyone's eyes was on her. And she does this really cool scoot, push, crawl type move on the very front of the stage. So that was a cute moment. And she does this kind of like back move where she literally kind of like pushes Nicky out of the way. So all eyes were on her. And then her wig falls off. Oh gosh. Like all queens who have come after, who was it? I think it was oh my gosh, Milan. I think her wig came off one performance, and that was like season 5. All queens should just like tape down their wigs, um, even if they don't think that they're going to lip sync. And Ru has never, for every queen whose wig has come off, Ru has always eliminated them. So for Heidi to kill it and then for her wig to come off, I was like, oh no, like Ru hates that. And so I was like, Heidi's gone. She's gone. Like she's not going to survive this at all. Then Ru says, Heidi, you stay. And I was like, oh, like I was really happy for Heidi, but I was really sad for Nicky. So Nicky is eliminated from the competition, and Heidi is here to stay and slay another day. And so I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think Nicky deserved to be in the bottom, and if she should have went home based off of Heidi's wig falling off. Um, who had your favorite fashion moment in the runway, Planet of the Capes? And what did you think about Widow and how she reacted to getting the character that she slayed? Um, I actually thought that Widow was going to win the acting challenge because she was great. Um, but they love Sherry just a little bit more. And so wherever you guys are in the world, please be safe with um, the coronavirus pandemic going on right now. I want you guys to be alive and healthy. And if there's anyone who is watching this and you are a new subscriber, thank you. I really appreciate it. Because of you, I am growing my channel slowly. So 1,000 times thank you. And to all of my original followers, thanks for holding me down. I really appreciate it. I will be making a lot more videos. I'm trying to put them out faster, so I'm sorry that I'm going so slow, but I will also be having other changes to the channel coming soon, so stay tuned for that. And I have stepped up my lighting game. I don't know if you can see this. I have like three lights on me right now. I don't know if you can tell, but the highlight is looking really good. Um, but have a wonderful day, everyone. And until next time, treat yourself good. Besos.